need an executive session.
That's all I have for you guys. I'm done, if you're done with me.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
Yep.
Okay.
Salaries. I hate setting salaries.
I know.
Because some employees are worth more than others, always have been, doesn't matter.
Right. The
And I
response.
mean, there's people that was worth more than me, I know it. You know, it's not,
So you're worth what you can get.
Yeah.
how do we open bids on a bridge?
Yeah, I think so.
Was he gonna open them or was he gonna, yeah, it says open.
Thought Dave was done today.
End of the month. I thought he was done at the end of last month.
I did too, yeah, I thought they said the 15th.
Yeah, I think he's burned through like, not sick leave, but, vacation days and stuff is what I'm thinking he's doing.
I thought Scott said we were gonna call him in today.
Well, Scott made the comment, it's the end of the month.
I've been having some people ask me about it.
Yeah.
First cup of coffee I've had in 6 months. Like to shake me out of my chair here.
Boy, if I would've had a 3-pound candy bar as a kid, oh my gosh. I still have to watch it or I'm just, my wife's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, ah. My biological aunt died last year due to COVID. She was 108 and still moving strong. Yeah. There's longevity on my bio-dad side.
One of the guys that owns a house there in Bird City that they rent out to skiers, to hunters,
Yeah.
what have you. Anyway, he's from up in Dillon, and his mom, he showed me a picture of his mom skiing down the mountain. She's 92.
Wow.
And then I asked him about it, and he said,
Hello.
I said, how did she get there? He said, well, she rides with an old brother-in-law, he's 88.
Oh, you the man.
I just got 3 extra larges is the problem. If you need bigger than that,
That's cool.
we're running low.
That's okay.
I'll leave them.
Mine's a big one.
Well, you can give one to somebody else. I'm good with the one
I'll
I've got.
probably pick his up anyway.
The worst part is they run just a hair small too, just so you know. So,
Hey Steve, how are you guys doing? Doing good. Good.
Are we on then?
Huh?
Are we on?
Yeah.
You're on.
Oh,
Did
okay.
she bring the bids in or not?
No, I don't have
I'll
them.
go get them. I'll drop them off over here.
Okay, we have with us Road and Bridge, and we're going to talk with Penco about the bids.
We received 2 bids. It's the KLBIP program. That's the bridge south of Bird City, I guess, be the easiest. Probably has the name.
No, we're talking trout, yes, I mean, without the name bus.
Always forget the name.
Bridge 16. That's one you'll know.
There you go, I know that, yeah.
And they'll start on the next week.
Now, we gave that a late start date of October 3rd, I think. And it'll probably be October 3rd, would be my guess.
And these are all pretty much the same. We're asking each other guy. Each one is taking basically the same.
They bid the same, yeah.
Sticky there.
Basically, the contractor's just gonna build the new bridge. The county would have to take out the old one and do all the dirt work. Be real similar to the one we did north of town.
They'll be doing guardrail, correct?
Guardrail on the yeah.
Don't you got 300, 48, 65?
Yeah, 655.
And we did give them two options there. One was with a concrete deck and one was with corrugated metal ground over the top. So that's why there's two alternatives there.
And they'll probably do the steel deck, won't they? Depends on, I guess.
Depends on which one's cheaper. I figured the steel deck would be cheaper, but it may not be. The steel prices have went up so much.
This one right here is about 26,000 higher with the steel deck.
And that's surprising. I know out
If I'm
here.
reading it right.
You know, we had a concrete deck to begin with, and then we changed it, and they knocked off about $50,000 to go with the metal deck. But we also lowered it. I mean, we changed more than just the deck type, but since that bridge was built, the steel prices have went way up, so.
This one here is, well, let's say 29 or 297,000 for a concrete deck. And then for the metal deck, they put basically 297 and then it jumps up to 325, 24.
Yeah. And that is Reese, right? That's Reese Construction,
And the other company,
is L&M.
they're at 339 and 348
They're closer on the two, but they're higher.
on the two, but they're higher.
Quite a bit higher.
We get better life out of the steel deck? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no. More than likely, you should get better life out of the concrete. So. And the concrete deck has, what helps too is it has about half the stringers, because you can space them farther apart. They're deeper stringers, but you can, I think we had 6 on
So
the
you have a
concrete deck.
steel deck with the concrete on top of the steel, is that what you're
Oh, yeah,
saying?
it'll have a stay-in-place form, but it's not supporting the load at all. It's just a real thin metal deck to hold the concrete when they pour. And there'll be steel in the concrete to spread it to the stringers. Our original estimate on this, I guess KDOT's paying the first 200,000. Our original estimate on this was, I think, 210. That was a year and a half ago, so it has went up quite a bit. So at that time, the county was gonna have to kick in like 50,000 total. Now you're up over,
97,000.
plus our costs, so you're looking at probably around 140 total. So it went up 90,000 probably. Of county money.
Put in a low water crossing.
It's hard to do at that location, it's so tall. It'd be a heck of a cut, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
If you could put them in, that's something you definitely do, but that's probably not the place to put one.
So what's our budget look like if we go up 90,000?
A little over, right at a million in our special bridge, special road fund. We could.
So you're all
absorb
right. You're all right then.
we should be,
Figuring
yeah.
that in, yeah.
It's sad to see that big increase, I'm not doubting that, we wasn't expecting that. Cause see, they're paying that too, originally it was 150,000, and we got that 50,000 credit for taking out that other bridge up north. So we got that 200,000.
Has that been taken out?
Yes,
It is done, okay. Couldn't remember for sure.
I thought it was Cinch, you know, maybe.
You probably did.
I'm not positive that, now that you said that, so.
Okay.
We need to.
No, we need to remove that from your inventory. So.
So you want to accept this bid then?
I would move that we accept the bid from Reese, and go with the concrete, request that we do that.
Make a motion, we accept the Reese Construction Concrete, or company bid for $297,663.94.
I second it.
And first and second to accept the bid from Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried for the, which bridge is that? For the bridge from Reese Construction.
Yeah, we call it off system 69.
Scott, your question, that would be System Bridge 69.
What's that?
All
That
system-
should be that
bridge
one.
on System 69.
And is, you have both of them? Oh, he's got that. I'm gonna put that with you. Okay.
This one all goes here?
Yeah.
Do we want to sign this now? Do we have to sign this?
Look at this.
Is it Reese or-
Yeah.
What was the last one? Was it Reese or L&M?
Reese did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right here.
No, there's nowhere,
The one on Hill's Canyon.
nowhere to sign on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're, I mean, all the contractors are short on help, and obviously materials went out, but
Right.
they're busy. There's just too much work out there.
So we'll just, we don't have to sign nothing then.
No, I will get the, I will send the agreement to them first, and then it'll come back for you for signature.
Okay.
And I guess I will issue the notice of award if that's all right. Which has been approved, so I'll go ahead and sign the notice of award and get that sent to them today. That way they can lock in their steel prices and concrete prices and stuff.
We give them an early start on October, what was the late start?
The late start was October.
So when it's,
They can start anytime between
What
now
the
and
bids
October
were, what
3rd.
Oh, I thought it was a little longer than that, so.
That was the late start, was October
Okay.
3rd. So it should be done by the end of the year.
So what'd we come out with on Barnard's Bridge? Did you decide that was even, or?
We're not sure what it is. Have you put the C channels on?
we're working on that
They're
right
working on
now. We
that.
started-
It hasn't moved anymore, right?
It doesn't appear to.
Yeah, okay.
And we're getting the C channel on there, and the cross brace is working on that this week. Hopefully, that's gonna take a little time, left a lot of welding. Hopefully in a couple weeks we'll have it completed. And
So
then I think
you-
the plan was to have you guys come back, I think right before harvest, probably late May, and take some more measurements to
To make sure it's not moving.
see if it's changed much.
I went across there Saturday and I saw you had a dozer there and stuff. You were doing some work on it. I went across there pretty early in the morning. I didn't see a lot.
I took a lot of dirt to get the water out of there, if you will, filled in. It's a pretty big hole. But we did get that, and it's, you can get around down there, but you gotta be careful. It's soft in spots.
Oh, so you got the water out and put dirt in and filled in then?
Correct.
Okay, we got anything further with this?
I think on that, we said to give the county, I think, a 30-day notice before they were gonna start on this bridge. That way you got 30 days to, tear out the old structure and stuff, so.
And you get a timeline of October of this year?
I think it was October 3rd. It's a Monday, first Monday in October. Whatever day that is.
That's a start date?
That's the late start date. That's the latest they can start.
Okay,
Otherwise they
the
get
completion
penalized.
date would be,
They have 40 days to complete it. So that would push you
Yeah, October 30th is a Monday.
into November then.
It is a Monday.
so that'll be this fall.
Yeah.
Working that time, okay.
And that way you would have, say, a couple weeks before Christmas to get the dirt work done and open back up. Depending on the winter. Like this winter would be no problem.
Okay.
We need some moisture. Yeah. And it's dry.
And that's 40 working days,
Yeah, working day, so that's.
weather
Yeah.
related and everything, so.
So, at least 2 months, but if they got wet weather or something like that, they don't get charged. So it could drag on a little bit longer, but more than likely not that time of year. Should be okay. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
All I have then.
Thank you. Do they set up, they wouldn't set a plant up or anything, they probably just bring it in on trucks, concrete?
Yeah, the concrete will come from here, I'm sure. Our local ready mix.
I think it'd be here, possibly Atwood.
Could be Atwood, yeah, I don't. Yeah, either
Probably
one.
get bids on it, do they?
They'll do the bid and everything on that, yeah.
Yeah.
This one probably can't put out that much concrete.
What's that?
They can't put out quite as much concrete on this one as
Oh, you
fast.
can. I think it's just a cost of whatever the contractor's gonna take bids, probably from Bakeman, Atwood, and maybe even someone from South, you never know.
Yeah, and there's only 30 yards of concrete on this. So
that's
it's not
much.
a big amount.
Probably don't pour it all at one time anyway, do
Yeah, they'll pour the whole deck at once.
they? Save it one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, there'll just be one concrete pour. Okay.
The hang would be
Thank you.
with the pouring concrete, they can't have it too cold though.
No, yeah, they need to keep it above 40 degrees, so they have to kind of watch the weather if they got into late November or something.
What would be the earliest start date? Is that just up to them?
They could actually start saying 2 weeks. Well, they gotta
They
give
gotta
you
give
30
you
days.
30-day notice.
So they can't start till 1st of April at the earliest. The time they get their agreements here and the commission sign them, which would be the next meeting, so you'd be looking at least 1st of April. And they gave you your 30-day notice, so. But I almost guarantee you that's not happening. Like Reese, they've got, he's told me, they got bridges, they wouldn't have to bid another bridge till 2025. They're booked for 4 years, or 3 years. There's that much, KDOT just flooded the market with bridges, because they had all that COVID money to spend, and they had to let the bridges in a certain amount of time. And they just gave them to it.
They're probably gonna get some of this infrastructure money too on top of it.
Well,
aren't
yeah, that's counting none of that
they?
money.
None of that.
None of that's got here yet. And we can't even spend the money we have, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Right now, they're hiring away a lot of the KDOT employees. Because to try to get people to do the work, for the contractors. So I know Atwood office lost 2, the Norton office lost 1. And Oakley's losing 1, so there's just hardly anybody left. And the contractors right now, they're bidding these things so high, they're paying, a lot of them guys are doubling their salaries. So it tells you how much KDOT, or the contractors are bidding these things. But what's gonna happen in a couple of years when this, if it does settle back down, they can't pay them guys that kind of money.
Right.
Good money for a little while.
Yeah, we got a couple of years.
I've been wondering about all these truck dealers selling them trucks so high, and then not gonna be long, it's gonna come right back down.
They said Chevy
It's just
got
a bad
after their
cycle we're in,
dealers
that's for sure.
for doing that.
Yeah. Be hard for a bank to finance them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day, thanks.
Thanks for the code.
Yes, thank you.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
See you.
Do you wanna swing them over real quick before?
I'll catch you back over here.
Byron?
All right, thanks.
I'm not on here.
Okay, go ahead if I didn't know. Okay. Solid waste. Come on up. And just an update, I've heard from Doug from Foley, and they're gonna be here in about 15 minutes. So they're on time, I think they were scheduled for about 10 o'clock. Byron came to me, actually a while ago, and then he brought it up here just last week. We're looking at maybe some different options on how to handle, some of the plastic waste, mainly the 2.5 gallon jugs. Right now, I think we're charging, people, I think it's by the ton.
Yeah, $30
Weighing
a
it.
ton. And
That's a lot of,
they'll come over and whole pickup load, it'll be $2, and you're taking up an awful lot of airspace for them just spending, you know, $2 for a whole pickup load, you know, that's 45, 50 jugs. And, man, as much money as they get, they charge the customer, you know. I mean, you bought some of that, what's it, $95 to $200 for some of that chemical?
Yeah, that'd be cheap.
Okay, well, I feel like they could spend 50 cents or even $1 a jug to dispose of it.
I was thinking more along the lines of 25 cents if we were to, and
Yeah,
we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Because we have to be careful, right now, if you're looking at the $2 to $5 range on what's being unloaded there, it comes out to, just quick estimates, about a nickel, maybe even less, or maybe a little bit more per jug. Well, I don't know, 25 cents, that would be
Not
a
very
pretty
much,
big jump.
but not in there enough.
But, well, maybe not. I just,
I agree
I-
with Willie.
it's just in talking to a few people, and I think every one of those individuals commented about, we want to be careful and not end up, people looking for alternatives as far as where to put it. It's just, and that's maybe something to consider if we go too high on the price per jug, if we were to go that route. One other thought we had this morning in talking about this was, and I haven't mentioned this to you yet, Byron, maybe you thought about it, but if we were to get a compactor out there in the north building and compact what comes in, would that help as far as a space saver? And we still could charge per jug, or,
Well, yeah, that'd help, but I won't have time to run it.
right, well, that's the thing, if you're,
You're gonna have to hire
certain
somebody
times
else
of the
to run
year, you're gonna be inundated with,
Yeah,
and it'd be not enough room probably in that building to handle what we get piled up, but. Willie, Bird City at the recycling center, have they in the past taken
Jugs,
the jugs? Yeah.
we used to, but we were just throwing them in at the landfills. We were never crushing them or anything.
Oh, okay, so,
But that might be an idea, maybe set up one of our compactors, either St. Francis or Bird City, and pay somebody to smash them. Tell everybody got to take them one place. But then again, that might
and that involves the city, and I wanna be leery, I'm
Yeah.
careful of,
bother
Speaking-
people as to, why should I take them to Bird when I could throw them,
Right.
just,
Because that whole recycling thing's coming down quick. We're not accepting plastic jugs over there, and water jugs, and water bottles. And that's we're gonna have to do something here pretty soon.
well, I just thought that, you guys, if you guys decided what we have to have, or if you wanna just stay $30 a ton like we've been doing,
Well, yeah, that, Byron, I really don't know about it. It really kind of concerns me, chemical jugs, if they're not doing a good job of rinsing them.
oh, they're rinsed.
Yeah, but, yeah, you think maybe, you don't know.
well, right, but even when they've been rinsed, in talking to a JR this morning just briefly about it, they were, part of the problems they were seeing here in St. Francis, but they were still coming back contaminated, or, they could be clean,
Right.
but
Look
their
good.
tolerances
I mean,
are so
It
tight.
makes you concerned you're gonna contaminate our landfill.
Well, right, not to mention that, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, if
If
they
you
don't do a
did,
good
it
job
would
of
be-
rinsing, but we can't stop them. We don't want them dumped in our
In our
ditches, road
ditches.
ditches.
Right.
And I would think producers are careful and
Right.
do a good job. That's the norm, I guess, but.
We're still getting a lot of jugs, cause I know a lot of them are going to them shuttles. But still getting jugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's there's times I'll have a customer come over with a trailer and a pickup full. I mean, they're all tied together with a rope and they just throw them out, you know?
What I would like to see is maybe change the rate to, say, a quarter a jug. The only concern I have maybe is you're still having to count, but you've indicated that's
No, that's no
possible.
problem.
Are you okay with that?
And that's just where we're talking about it, just the potential for the bulk coming
just-
in, and then the weight's just not there.
I guess basically we're just saying we're gonna put a Band-Aid on it for now, and
You what now?
basically we're saying we're just gonna put a Band-Aid on the problem for now and then wait, see what happens. Because a quarter jug didn't seem very much, where, like I said, $1, it's pretty high. And I don't know which one's,
Yeah, I would not propose the $1. That seems-
I guess
that would be-
I guess we could start out with a quarter jug and see where that takes us, and
With how much, a quarter jug?
quarter jug, and then,
That's fine. I just, you know, Steve and I didn't wanna do anything and then have somebody, you know, jump you guys and, hey, you know,
yeah, cause we don't
Still
wanna make
might.
the,
what's 25 cents a jug or what's 50 cents a jug, you know?
well, I imagine that's quite a bit when they start buying in volume all that
Right.
other stuff.
So I want to be careful getting too carried away on that.
But also,
But it is a space
if
concern.
they're putting that much on, look how much money they're making too.
Yeah,
That's kinda like the couch deal when we was going through it.
Yeah.
Well, if you can afford an $800 couch, you can afford $8 to get rid of the couch.
But everything is going up in price, and that's why want to be careful.
Right.
I mean, they're making money on volume, and they're not making a lot probably.
Do you-
per
do you
jug.
I
think-
think our recycling is coming to an end.
Yeah.
It's going that
I
direction.
mean, it's going that direction. I mean, people are not gonna wanna pay. I mean, you're using tax dollars to haul that stuff off. I mean, that, we have to pay them to take it.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
I mean, I've
Right
talked
now.
with JR and he said, it's a mess taking off of that old truck and driving through the hutch and back and,
And it's only 3,000 pounds of
Yeah.
compacted plastic.
do you think we could, table this until our next meeting so I
We
can
sure
talk
can,
to,
yeah.
like to talk to a couple of the guys about it?
That would, in fact, that's
Then we
what I
could-
would like to see.
Then we could
That's
come
okay
up with a,
For 2 weeks, come
Yeah,
back.
well, I wanted to get something done before the spring season started.
yeah, well.
I didn't
by next
wanna
meeting.
come in and, you know,
Right.
we're getting
Yeah,
300 jugs a week and,
yeah, cause they're ready to start rolling there pretty
Yep.
quick. So the sooner we do something about it, the better, but
Right.
I'd like if we can just wait till the next meeting, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bob. Have a
I'll
good
leave
day.
you to
Thanks,
yourself.
All right. I guess while we have time, go ahead and set that aside while we're waiting. This is just our latest on expenses, look through there.
Hello. Everything's still going smooth?
Yes, well,
Gotcha.
addressing the repairs,
Yeah.
that's,
yeah, Brett saw one on there for 38,000. The motor grader, was that a?
Community.
That was
38,
split.
that was part of the
They took, to pay for that one, they took it out of two different.
special equipment fund. We still hadn't received the
Oh,
funds
I see. That's for the new grader.
Yeah. It was just paid to have
out of two different funds.
Yeah.
God, there was a reason for it.
Yeah, that'd be a bargain of a,
Yeah.
No, we saw the other one too, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, between the two funds, that's,
Let's see, should I ask you?
I think since, are you guys? If, they're ready, maybe we'll have them come up and they're gonna give the presentation on the certified
Yeah,
rebuild.
we can do that, yeah.
Okay. Or if we need a minute to get set up, I'm not sure.
I just run a bunch of stuff off.
Okay.
Should be, that way you can see the
KNC
papers.
motor, is that, you took the generator down there? Is that,
For, repairs,
yeah,
the old one, yeah, and it's shot.
yeah.
The windings were, they're gone, you'd pay more than what it's, way
So
more
they
than what it's
charge us
worth. to fix it.
$75
They did,
so it's
that was,
shot.
well, they wanted to make sure,
Professional opinion.
wanted to make sure, yeah.
I did find my way the other day.
You did back out of there.
Nowhere, man.
Pardon?
That was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, they're working up there a little bit today yet.
Yeah, I
Get
talked to
that
him.
finished up.
He's getting happier, yeah.
What'd we have Wade do?
Our door, which was damaged, from one of the disc mowers being pulled out. It was up a little high and it caught it, this was last summer. And we've been fighting that door and that's something that we may end up having to replace, cause this is, I think, the third time that Wade's been out there to get it adjusted and it's still wanting to catch. In fact, when we run that, when you shut that door, you need to stay on the switch and make sure it doesn't catch, cause if it can tear things up if it catches and you don't stop it.
That's the main door in the shop?
The main door, yeah. So that's, I'm afraid in the next coming months, year, it's something that may come up for it needing to get replaced. I think first we'll have Doug and Mark talk about the certified rebuild, and then I have some other information on the current grader that's down at Colby getting repaired, and some other options that we can look at too.
Okay, thank you.
Might all tie together.
Stay up there.
Okay, yep, I'll-
You got it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
How are you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
So you want to talk about certifieds first, rebuilds, and then go from there, or what's your, or repair? I can do whatever
Let's
you want.
talk about the certified rebuild first, I guess. That's-
I just ran off some of the slides. I want to explain what that's all about first, so you're familiar with it. Okay. You sure? I didn't know how many I needed, so I kept running plenty off.
Ink's not free, Mark.
What Foley it is. Certified rebuilds, and I'll go through this quickly with you, but it's a program Foley started back in the early 2000s. It's through Caterpillar. Caterpillar sets the standard on certified powertrain rebuilds, what we would be talking about. And just kind of, why do you do it? I'm just gonna follow these slides and ask questions, and I won't try to take too much time, but because Cat machines are built to be rebuilt if you wanna keep that machine. You can improve your reliability, your downtime, life cycle of that machine. You can have new appearance, you should have new performance. The appearance is something you would decide on. Just saying that, if you decided anybody decides to do a rebuild on the powertrain, you gotta run another life cycle. So if you've had 10,000 hours on your machine, you wanna run it another 10,000 to get your return on investment. You get to retain the ownership if you like that machine. For whatever reason, some people look at it as not getting into the new emissions. That's all depends on the customer. You can budget, you can, of course, schedule that event to take place. And the certified, just quickly, the certified powertrain rebuild, or what we call a CPT in the cat world. Again, it was introduced in '01. Initially, they were doing complete rebuilds, which is way more in depth. I don't look at that out here at all. We rebuilt the entire powertrain from radiator to final drives, essentially on a grader from the pivot, articulation pivot back. Gets rebuilt, whether it's engine, transmission, radiator, fuel system, diff, tranny, final drives, tandems, spindles, all of that. Let's see, where is that there? New radiator. That's the certified powertrain rebuild. You can add whatever you want to that. That's that bottom slide where it says plus options. You can do some work in the cab if it needed it. You can do work on the hydraulic system, whether you put a pump on, go through your cylinders, redo the hydraulic valves on it. You can work on the moldboard, or you shouldn't have an articulation problem. Air conditioner, usually it always gets a product link put on it coming out, and it gets a rebuild tag. And there's some pictures here I just added of some ones that have been done, graders wise, because I know at the moment that's the main thing we're talking about. This is just for your information. I'm not going to go through this. I just was running off some of that. I want you guys to have the information, because you need to make a good informed decision, no matter what you do. I'm gonna feed you a lot of paper. This is one we did for another county here in western Kansas, before and afters. And we did 2 different H's here in my territory, certified rebuilds. The certified rebuild is a program, again, just quickly to follow up on that. You like the machine, you want to put that kind of money into it to keep it and run it. It's got to be ran another life cycle. If you're not going to do that, I will very much guide you away from that. And Doug's seen, we just pulled a 627G out of rebuild here a week ago, and running it, and they had 17,000 hours on it. They're going to run it another 17 is their plan. But graders, just to kind of fill you up on graders, normally what we do is, of course, the powertrain. CAT tells us we have to do this, 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 and this. So they stand behind the warranty. You can of course get a powertrain warranty on it. The initial one is a 3-year, 5,000 hour. Most counties go to a 5-year, 6,000 hour, because you don't put the hours on it. Construction guy does. A lot of times they'll do a hydraulic pump, do a little work in the cab, depending how your cylinders. That plus stuff is all stuff. If you were interested, you guys decide what you want as far as done. Now, the big question is price. I can give you a budgetary number on what that is. If it was something you were interested in, the whole way we do it is you say, yes, I'm interested. We know it's about this much. We come in and do a full-scale inspection, essentially me and another guy. We build a quote according to what you want, then we make a final price for all that you want done, whatever that is. And if it's agreed upon, we take the machine to Wichita, Topeka, Park City, and we start the rebuild. Doesn't matter what we find at that point. There's no coming back and asking you for more money. This is the price up front. If we run into more, that's not your problem, because you don't know till you open something up. Yeah. I talked to my boss a little bit about that. Turn the page here. What they've been doing lately. A certified powertrain on a 140H, just doing the powertrain, is gonna run in that 165,000. That's just an estimate for you to know. And if you add stuff, it can go up from there. I know they said they could get up to 190, 200,000 if you keep adding stuff. If you decided to paint the machine, that's 15,000. Painting is a very intense, they paint the inside of the cab, the whole thing. It's pretty intense if you decide to paint it. So, depending what you added, I just want to give you that information so you can see that. Of course, you do have a 615C scraper. That is a perfect candidate for this if you like it and want to go clear through it. That's of course going to be more depending, because there's a lot more to it. On that one, you would probably do all the hydraulics, all the lines, and most of the wiring harnesses because of the age. And that's what we did on that big scraper because of the age and hours. That's going to be in the 250 plus range. Just giving you rough numbers. You guys have did a lot of work on the elevator, so that's going through that machine more, on that particular machine, more front to back. Because I know you've had a lot of wiring issues and hydraulic issues and what have you. Questions? I've talked a lot. I need to open that for questions.
When you say the price won't go up, say if they find something that's in the frame that's covered with something that's cracked or something that's still,
That's not your problem.
okay.
Because if we inspect it properly, we should find that. And if we miss it, that's Foley's,
Yeah,
Foley will eat
I
that.
just thought maybe sometime but it's hidden,
Well-
you know what I mean?
Right, and that's the deal I like about the certified rebuild program. We don't, it's not every cat dealer does that. This is how Foley does it. We decide they've done a lot of H's and they've done some 615s. They know where they're roughly gonna be at. And some are gonna kick them in the shorts and some they do pretty good on, so they want you to have one price, so you don't have to worry. We're not gonna come back and ask for more. We're gonna do what was agreed upon initially. So, other questions?
No.
That's a lot of information in a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And a lot of
And a
money
little bit of
either
money,
way.
yeah.
It's a lot of money, unfortunately, that continues to go up just like equipment, because parts and labor continue to go up. Because I know they've been doing them less than that in the past years, but it's a strange environment we're in. So,
Just the freight to get them down there and back would be, go up a bit.
Yeah.
the freight,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we did include that in the price when we did it.
I know, but I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's going up. Freight's
Oh, yeah.
Going up terrible.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's not stopping. Didn't pay no attention. Diesel's almost $4 a gallon for them truckers everywhere in this area. That's ridiculously
I don't know
high.
what my pickup yesterday, 335.
And if the truckers stay on strike, what the hell are we gonna do?
So that kind of throws out that option, and now there's a whole other step here to talk about through on that.
So, this is just a number of different scenarios on the direction we could go with respect to repairs. It's all basically started from, I think it's Unit 102, it's got nearly 9,000 hours, it's a 2006 or 7, 140H.
That's the one in
that's-
Colby, right?
Right, that had the pinion gear go out and some other concerns. That highlighted, that's, could probably be called option one, if you wanna call it, that's just repairing that unit and sticking with it.
Now, I do want to verify something on this cost on the bigger one. When I got back to shop and they took that machine out to make room, I upped that a little because when they set that back on the ground, the seal was leaking on one of the spindles, which means we're probably gonna have to do both spindles, cause there's probably metal throughout that tandem on that side. So I added doing all four just to cover our bases, which,
What would it bring that minimum, there was like a 35,000 minimum repair, would that bump that up?
yes, cause of not knowing.
And that's what we had figured on the trade too, if we traded it with that.
We're just over 50,000,
We had
51,000
repairs.
to add them
But
spindles.
we would,
I just don't wanna say, no, we're not doing it, and then we say, oh, we need another 5,000 or 6,000 to fix it right. I'd sooner,
Yeah.
you know, we're in the 50 range, not 45
Yeah,
or
fix it
6.
right. That's the main thing.
Cause we could get in there and find a lot more wrong
41,600.
than what
That's what
we're
we
even knowing
receive
could
credit
be.
for if we were to go a different.
And I think one of you guys asked
We were
about
factoring the 35 repairs.
recondition compared to rebearing on the tranny, if that was an issue, it's about double. It's about double.
That's fine.
Just wanted to kinda update you on that.
Do you want to keep these?
And the $15,000, I think it actually came in at like 12,700, but I'm trying to figure worst case, I guess, and so that would just be the minimum repair to get Unit 102 back up and running. I'm
Minimum
not
would
sure
be
the-
putting that pinion in, bearing, doing at least the 2 spindles. And that would probably be that minimum.
And that would get it running again. It may not be the recommended, and that's where you get up into the $40,000 range, and sounds like maybe a little higher to accomplish that. Another option that's come up, and this is one that I think I'd request, and that is do a trade. It's option number 1, it's listed as number 1 there. Trade Unit 102 as is, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, the value on that trade would have been about 41.6.
Right.
And then we have also listed up at the top, I listed all our H's, and they're getting up there in hours. These were also candidates for the rebuild, a couple of these. But maybe instead of going with the rebuild, we could also trade units 100. That unit has 12,000 hours, it's a 2006. And then right now, Foley has available two 2014 12M2s, and they are at 120,000 each. And then after figuring in trade value, which would be less 106,500, the difference would be 133,500. That would be for two 12M2s, 2014s, and they have approximately, one has 5,900 hours and the other has 6,000 hours. And they're units that were in service in, I believe it was Clay County, Kansas. And their reason for moving them on is that's just part of their rotation on how they move their graders through. They run them for that 6,000 hour range, and then they end up getting new. I'm not sure what they were getting
Now,
in
now, when
place,
you,
but
when you take a trade, you've gone through the trades.
Yeah,
Just
when they've inspected
basically
it, they fix
inspected it.
everything.
Right, when they inspect it and get a trade number, they base the repairs on that too. And so then we bring it into the shop. They're both currently down right now because they're doing those repairs. So if, they have leaking cylinders, if they have, cracks, we go from the mirrors to the seat belts to everything, and then we bring those into the shop, and then everything is gone through. And I've got some pictures of them from the inspections. This is the one with 5,900 hours. And then this is the one with 6,100 hours.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
Sure.
check with that part,
Sure.
so I don't need to.
And I talked to the gentleman that traded for him, that handles that area for us, and he said he wouldn't be scared of them at all. They've been on a, maintenance plan, just like most counties are, You know, I was telling, there's the other ones. I was telling Steve, you know, sometimes you trade from you or I or Steve or whatever, you don't really know what's been done inside of it.
Yeah,
When you're trading for a counting machine, the maintenance plans have all been up to snuff and done at all the correct intervals and. And what I had
Won't mean
quoted,
nothing to me now.
what I had quoted was trading the one that we have in stock right now for the 41.6. There is some warranty left on that machine, the one that we'd be trading for, through November. So at that point, we would have it re-inspected and add,
It's got Premier Care on it.
no, it was a powertrain and hydraulics.
If they would do that, if you looked at, decided before it went out of warranty, you don't have to have it re-inspected.
Right, okay.
You just add it to it.
So that trade number, excuse me, would be 89 on that one. We did have to add the lift group, and the, light extension. That one did not have a ripper on it. It does have the lines if we want to move that ripper from the one we have. That would lessen the trade a little bit, but,
By how much?
roughly 4,000.
Oh, take it off the.
Right, and we
H.
talked about that this morning, and to be able to take it off of there. The lift group would be 2,000 if we would take it off of there. And I just got a text, because I made some calls after my last meeting, and he is pretty sure that they'll cross over.
See, I'm not real sure. From an H to
Right,
M.
Dave probably knows, but.
The front lift group.
From the 12M to the one, from the 140 to the 12M, yeah, they'll switch right
I'll
over.
switch over.
Because there's some of those, they said they had to build a new template for, so there'd be some manufacturing, but that might be from the,
Be the G series.
The Gs,
You went from the
and-
G to the H.
Yeah.
was the wider one.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
So,
okay.
But I think, and Carl said he was pretty sure they have the same number on them, so if that's something you guys wanna do, we can adjust that number and trade off of that. The other one that I had figured, which you may also change, was I did the 65, the 07, which was unit, 100. Is that the one that you were wanting to do?
That's right,
Yeah,
correct.
okay,
It's
so
the highest
I had it
one.
figured correctly then, okay. So we should be good on that one.
That one's okay, and I gotta back up, and the one that you said that did go up, which unit was that?
On the other trade,
Right,
on the first trade was the one we have in the shop.
102.
Uh-huh, yeah.